5 here, and here I am, I'm bringing you guys another commentary. You know, I really probably do need to get something new to say for my intro, you know, something to spice it up a bit. But, I have a new commentary today, and I'm calling it, Why Consoles Can Sometimes Be Better Than PC. Now, the sometimes is a very big defining point in this, mainly just because I don't want to get spammed with insta-hate just because people see the title and are like, oh, we just got another PC hater. Because I don't mean to hate on PC, I don't mean to hate on console. You'll see as the commentary goes along. But first, I have one little small thank you, as well as one little small channel update that I'm going to try to include again here, real nice and quick. The one little small thank you is that I've reached 20 subscribers and have gotten over 300 views on my channel. Now, while those do indeed seem like very small numbers, because, well, let's be honest here, they are indeed pretty small numbers. For me, given how big my YouTube channel is, which as of the moment is not that big, you know? But still, I think those are actually pretty good milepoints for me. 20 subscribers, while yes, it is a small number, I am very happy and glad to have reached 20 subscribers and over 300 views on my channel. And I can only hope that I get more subscribers and I can get more views on my channel, because I like YouTube. YouTube is just something that I find really, really, really fun. I'm not even sure why. I just really enjoy doing YouTube. And I don't even mean, like, if I could make a career out of YouTube, that'd be totally awesome, but that's not even, like, my end game here. It's not even my goal. I just like doing YouTube because I just like making videos and putting them up for people to see. So, yeah, that's just a little thank you guys. Thank you guys for helping me reach over 20 subscribers and successfully getting over 300 views on my channel. I am very grateful for it. And I just want to give you guys a quick little thank you. Also, another small update on my channel is that I got a new graphics card, finally. New graphics card has finally come in. It's not the best graphics card in the world, but it is still pretty good. You know, it's a pretty decent graphics card, and I'm proud of it. But, yeah, got my new graphics card, as you can probably see by the gameplay, because the gameplay that you're seeing right here is Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on PC. I'm playing some zombies, just some solo zombies on the Giant. And, I do switch in, and there was a multiplayer match. I have an entire single match of me playing multiplayer that will show up very soon. And then eventually it goes back to a more zombies gameplay. But essentially, what I wanted to talk about today in the commentary, now that I've gotten the little thank you and the small little update out of the way, what I wanted to talk to you guys today on YouTube is... excuse me, I had a burp. What I want to talk to you guys about is how consoles can sometimes be better than PC when it comes to gaming. And now, here's what I'm going to mean. Now, anybody who knows anything about gaming should know that consoles, they're not as powerful. Generally, consoles aren't as powerful as PC. They don't run as, you don't have as fast of processing power. Games generally might not look the best. Like, you can get higher settings on PC normally. You can get more frames per second on PC because of just a stronger processor than what the consoles can offer. So essentially, normally consoles are generally quite weaker than most PCs. And especially if you have one of those crazy all-out $1,000 gaming PCs, yeah, your PC is definitely going to be a lot stronger than any old console that's on the market today. However, my argument today is how sometimes consoles can be better for gaming than PC. And here's what I mean by that. The general overview is that generally, like 9.5 times out of 10, games will run very well on console. Like they'll just run. They'll function, and while there may be some game-breaking glitches here and there, the game generally will work. And there won't be that many major issues. And generally, if there are major issues, they get patched incredibly quickly. On PC, that isn't always the case, unfortunately. Now, here's what I mean. And probably one of the best examples is of the game that I'm playing, Call of Duty. Now, for those of you who know that Call of Duty, they've been trying to, Call of Duty, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games, all come from Activision. And generally, Call of Duty has a much stronger focus on console than PC. The developers put more time into the console versions than the PC versions, which kind of shucks the PC crowd, which I think really sucks because I am pretty much a predominant PC player. I mean, I love consoles. There's a lot of upsides to having a console, as you know, one of the points that I bring up in this commentary is about how having a console is quite a positive in some cases. PC is generally stronger. It'll run faster, it'll look better usually. However, there are some games out there that might not work on your PC, but they work very well on console. And you could have a crazy, like over $1,000 gaming PC, and it still cannot work. Take, for example, with Call of Duty. Call of Duty Ghosts and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare both had very bad PC ports. The console versions of the game, for the most part, you know, after, you know, the first couple of, like, month to 2 month issues of the game just coming out, they got patched. The console versions, for the most part, worked very well. They looked good, they ran good, and there was a huge multiplayer basis on either game, even though those games weren't the most popular Call of Duty games out there just because, well, Call of Duty Ghosts was Call of Duty Ghosts, and Infinity Ward, not Infinity Ward, Advanced Warfare, while I personally like the game a lot of people did not like Advanced Warfare because people just were not the biggest fan of the heavy sci-fi futuristic theme and the exosuits having a booster on the map at Mach speeds. But those games had very crappy PC versions. The versions, they crashed a lot, they were laggy, framey. Even on like really good high-end PCs, they still crashed a lot, were laggy and framey. And no dedicated servers just kind of meant that, well, you sort of got fucked over. Pardon my French. However, if you were to play either game on console, both games worked almost perfectly. They worked very well. After the first month to 2 months, both versions worked very well. Both games they worked perfectly. While the PC version never really got fixed because the PC version usually gets us updates a bit later after the console versions get their updates. Another example of this is a personal example for me especially is Fallout 4. Now this is definitely not one that you would normally expect, but I bought Fallout 4 and I had my PC. My PC, it cost me like over $800. You know, the graphics card is $130, and my PC, it met the specs required to play Fallout 4. However, I bought Fallout 4 and it didn't work. So, you know, I uninstalled, reinstalled, still didn't work. Went to the Steam community, you know, got some little tips to help me fix the problem, got 2 or 3 tips, none of them helped. Looked up walkthroughs, none of them helped. I got essentially 0 help, like, it just didn't work, unfortunately. And so I returned it. I was like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna deal with, here's the multiplayer match, by the way, if you can already tell. I'm not gonna play. I was like, I'm not gonna play this game if it's not gonna work. And I go to console, and you never hear this issue of a game frequently crashing on console. I mean, yes, there are always the exceptions. Every single time, there's always an exception. But generally, no. And that kill right there was so painful to watch. I should have killed him so sooner, but I didn't. But you never really hear about consoles having issues with, you know, poor frame rates or the game crashes a lot. And generally, if there are, they usually get patched fairly quickly, I would say. While on PC, this isn't always the case. And Call of Duty probably is just simply the best example. Now, there are some good Call of Duty PC ports. I think Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 are pretty good PC ports. Black Ops, World at War. Now, World at War is definitely one of the more rocky ones, but given the fact that those custom zombies, it kind of, you know, definitely raises up its standings in my eyes, personally. But generally, Call of Duty just doesn't have good PC ports. Like, 8 times out of 10, the PC port is either not going to work or it's going to be mediocre. And you don't want to pay $60 for a game that doesn't work, or a game that's mediocre. You want to get a good game, you want to get the most for your money, get a good game, you don't want to get a game that sucks. And generally, Call of Duty kind of sucks on PC, but it works perfectly on console. And another way that this kind of leads into console gaming potentially being better than PC gaming is the fact that generally if a game gets bad reviews, people aren't going to buy it. If people hear that, like the game crashes a lot, it lags terribly, it just doesn't work, well, would you want to buy it? Would you want to spend $40, $50, $60 on a game that has those issues? I know that I certainly wouldn't, especially because I'm not rich, so I don't just got money pouring in. I'm fairly poor, actually. I mean, like, I'm not, like, poor, I'm, like, lower, middle-ish, middle class. I don't really know. But when you hear a game that just doesn't work, it's just a bad PC port, you don't want to buy it, you don't want to play it, and thereby that leads to, especially games like Call of Duty, having much smaller communities on PC, which means it can be harder to find a match, and generally you will end up being paired up with the same people again and again and again. This is what happened to me so often in Black Ops 2. I have Black Ops 2 for my PC, and I love the game. I think it is actually a pretty good PC port. However, the community is very small. Generally, it is only about there's only about 5,000 to 8,000 people playing at a time, unfortunately. While if you were to go back and look at Black Ops 2 on Xbox 360, there was about 30,000 to 40,000 people still actively playing the game, and it's not just all hacker lobbies. So, with PC games not having as good of a port as the console versions, that kind of then makes it to where people aren't really going to be inclined to want to pick up your game and play it, which then leads to a greatly reduced player count, which can make it hard to find a match and get into the game and actually actively enjoy the game, because it's just there's hardly anyone to play with, and you just kind of don't get paired up with anybody new to play with, which can get boring after a while, just going up against the same people again and again and again. Just seeing the old familiar names, meme names because of Steam, again and again and again. Now on console, given that pretty much the console versions are guaranteed to work, just about guaranteed to work, that means there's going to be a much higher player count. Which means you're going to be getting paired up with newer and different people, and generally having more fun with the game. I mean, I think it's fairly simple math. That's how I do it in my head. So, I just find it very disappointing that the PC versions of many games get shirked so badly, especially with games like Call of Duty. It's like really obvious that they don't put the most effort into the PC version of the game. And it's disappointing, and I think it is more of a developer issue, not a community issue. And I'm not here to be like, oh, I'm so sad that my PC can't run this game because the studio that made this game just didn't give a shit about the PC audience. Oh, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to be a big old crybaby, and I'm also not a PC supremacist. But I just find it a little disappointing, because Black Ops 3 is the latest Call of Duty, and it honestly does have a very small community. Very small. I would say there's only about 8,000 to 10,000 people playing at a time. Sometimes it can be very hard to find a match. Trying to find a match between zombies is next to impossible, which sucks because I personally really do like Black Ops 3 Zombies. I mean, it's not the best ever, but I personally do like the little quality of life improvements, like, being able to take 3 hits, and, the paint shop is awesome, and the camos you can get are awesome, but Black Market sucks. I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Black Market absolutely blows. I hate it. But when a game doesn't have a good PC version, and if you're like a person like me who plays exclusively in PC, and I'm not including my 3DS and Wii here in this equation, I pretty much am an exclusive PC player, it's really quite disappointing that the game doesn't work and that the community then shrinks significantly. I do have a tough time finding a match in Black Ops 3, and, oh, there's my phone, just ignore that. And trying to find a match in Black Ops 2 is next to impossible with only like 5,000 people on at a time. It gets ridiculous trying to get a match on that, even though I love Black Ops 2. So, to kind of sum it up, also wait, one more point before I sum it all up. Consoles are definitely better when it comes in terms of money. My computer alone, and this is without any sort of upgrades besides a hard drive, like a storage upgrade and a RAM upgrade. My PC alone cost over $800. And brief thing here, I thought that I still had my Ripper Specialist ability active, so I tried to go up and, you know, rip him in the back, and it had just run out as I got to him, and I was just kind of standing there like, oh, how come I'm not killing him? Then I was like, oh wait, because I don't have the ability on anymore. Whoops. So I kind of botched that kill. Kind of funny. But, besides that, my PC alone cost me $800, and that was just with a storage upgrade and a RAM upgrade. And my PC cost $800, and my graphics card that I just bought was over $130. That's quite a bit of money, especially for someone like me who doesn't have the most consistent job. Because, you know, I still have this thing called school that kind of gets in the way of that jazz. So, it's kind of like disappointing that I have to spend so much money on my PC. And if you want to keep your PC up to date, like keep it strong, up to date, working just fine, and you know you want to be able to support all of the games that are coming out in the next year to 2 years, you're gonna have to purchase some sort of upgrade, whether it be a hard drive upgrade, graphics card upgrade, battery upgrade, any of those numbers. And that is kind of tough. Also, I've never seen this like victory animation before, but I love it. Love it so much. I think it's so cool. But I still hate the black market. But anyway, so PC, very expensive, especially if you want to keep it up to date so you can continue playing the newest games that are coming out there. Or if you want to run your older games in just like the max settings. Console, on the other hand, now we're back to the zombies gameplay, by the way. Console, on the other hand, you get this one, basically you get this one flat right thing. It's going to be able to do this, this, this. It's going to be able to support your games at this, 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 and this setting. And then that's it. Consoles are a lot easier to understand and to manage than PC, as well as consoles are a lot cheaper. A PS4, a brand new PS4 will cost you about $400 to $450. Xbox One is like $350 to $400. My PC alone, without any sort of special upgrades, would have been about $650, $700. And then with the little upgrades that I included in when I bought it, it was $800. And then the graphics card, to ensure that I could play all my games that I have at, you know, better resolutions, better settings and whatnot, again, that was like another $130. So, console is a lot simpler because with consoles, it's like you either just buy like a removable hard drive for more storage space, and then that's it. Then you just wait 2, 3, 4 years until the next console comes out, save up money, buy that, or get it as a gift if you're lucky enough, and then that's it. You're good to go. You're done, diddly done. That's the end of that. And that is like uber convenient. Consoles are a lot more convenient, they're a lot more price smart, and as well as they're not nearly as confusing as PC. PC can be very confusing. I was very confused when I was first, looking up specs about what graphics card I should get and if I could fit it and all that jazz. I was super lost and super confused. I did figure it all out, thankfully, and everything works perfectly, but it was very confusing. PC is confusing, it's a lot more expensive, and you gotta upgrade it. You gotta spend a lot of money on it to keep it up and running so then you can actually play the games that you want to play. While console, that's not really the case. With console, it's like, this is what you get this, this, and this, boom, that's it, you're done. So, to kind of sum everything up, PC, you never know if the PC, especially with AAA producers, you never know if the PC version you're getting is actually going to be good. And I'm mainly looking at you, Call of Duty. Call of Duty is probably like the biggest, the biggest contender to this issue of having bad PC ports. But I've had some other experiences of bad PC ports, such as, Fallout 4 didn't work for me, as well as been some other games that work very well on console, but do not work well on PC, even though my PC does meet the required specs. Like look at No Man's Sky. Everyone was incredibly excited and hyped for No Man's Sky, and unfortunately, look what happened. We all kind of got let down a bit, especially by the PC version. Because the PC version, as people were calling it, was just a bad PS4 port. Which is very disappointing to say the least, because I personally was incredibly hyped for that game. But if it's not going to work, even if my PC does meet the specs, why should I waste $50, $60 on it? So, especially with AAA producers, with PC, it's a throw up in the air if you're actually going to get a decent, functional port that will run the game as well as, like, the console, quote-unquote, console peasants are running it. So, with PC ports, you never know if you're actually going to get the bang for your buck. You never know if it's actually going to work the way you want it to work. And that's a little unfair, I think, that, you know, you might end up getting a version of the game that doesn't work as well just because the developers are too lazy to actually put decent time and effort into the version of the game. So with PC ports, especially from AAA producers, you never know if you're actually going to get a decent workable port, which blows. Another thing is, with generally, if you are in the game series that has a reputation of having bad PC ports, the communities for those games are going to be a lot smaller than on console. In fact, they're going to be downright puny compared to the console communities, which kind of blows a bit, because there goes quite a bit of people that you could connect with and have fun with over the interwebs, because the internet is just the funnest place on earth. And then third, consoles are a lot more price smart. They're a lot simpler, they're easier to understand, and all games pretty much, for the most part, and yes, like I said before, there are exceptions, most games will function the way they're supposed to on console. Just kind of like a guaranteed. That's just like the way it is. While on PC, you never know for sure, unfortunately. You never know for sure if it's actually gonna work the way you want it to work. So, that's pretty much the end of this commentary. That's just my basic sum up. PC ports, you know, they're not guaranteed to be good. PC is also a lot more expensive than console, as well as definitely more confusing, and console generally has a heftier size community than PC, just because, you know, if you have a reputation of being a good game and it works on console, then why not play it? So those are the major points that I wanted to go over here about console and basically the main difference between console and PC gaming. I just hope you enjoyed this little commentary about how this is personally why I think consoles, and I'm not saying they definitely are, I'm just saying this is how consoles could in a way be considered better for gaming than PC. Number one, console versions are basically always guaranteed to at least run. Doesn't mean the game will be good, but at least, you know, for the most part guaranteed to run. While on PC it's not guaranteed because, well, producers these days just don't want to really put in the time and effort to make a good PC port, which is disappointing. Two, if you're playing a game that has a reputation of having, you know, just being bad, you're gonna have much smaller communities on PC. And three, PCs is a lot more confusing and definitely a whole lot more expensive. It's definitely a much bigger strain on your wallet than consoles. Consoles is like one flat rate, then you buy a membership, and then you buy games. And I will probably do a commentary in the future. Sorry for having voice cracks here. I've just been talking, and I'm quite thirsty. But anyway, I don't mean for nudes. And anyway, basically, I'm probably going to do a commentary later about my personal thoughts about having to buy memberships to play online for consoles. I'll talk about it in a different video. But, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So, just another quick recap. PC ports are never guaranteed to work, while console versions most of the time work, at least. May not be a good game, maybe bad game mechanics, but the game at least runs and doesn't crash frequently. 2, PC communities generally are smaller than console communities because more people have consoles than PCs. Because, like I said, PC, and that kind of leads directly into point number 3. PC is a lot more confusing and definitely more expensive, and that can just kind of be a little bit of an issue. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I wasn't rambling it on too much, and I hope you understand. I don't mean to hate on consoles. You know, I'm not jealous of consoles. I mean, in fact, I'm probably actually going to be getting a PS4 sometime in the distant future, and hopefully I can eventually, you know, get a capture card to go along with it, so I can get some PS4 gameplay. Because I want to play that Bloodborne, and I wouldn't mind playing No Man's Sky. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.